Ladies and gentlemen, we are live once again here this afternoon for the regular season finale on the NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 Nextel Cup Series season. Jimmy Johnson last night with a sixth-place finish at the California Speedway was able to complete the regular season goal, which was winning the regular season championship. Still currently has the most wins on the year as well, with 10 coming into this race tonight, but we'll see what the short track at the action track of Richmond will bring. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we're about to get into this race. Parkway intros, welcome into the stream, first into the chat down below, and welcome everybody else just tuning in on this early afternoon, on this Sunday afternoon, getting you prepped up and ready to go for today's Cup race at Kansas, the playoff race. This is our full race live stream for the day. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen, the lower left-hand side of the screen, just below where my camera is, those are the drivers that currently are not locked into the chase so far. There's still 3 spots available. Only the top 10 in points qualify for the chase itself. And the only driver below the cutoff line is Rusty Wallace that can actually qualify for the chase here in this regular season finale at Richmond. Wallace comes in 116 points below the cutoff line. The drivers that are above the cutoff line that are not locked in, those are the positions respectively that they have to finish at those positions or better if they are going to lock themselves in on points here today. That would be Kurt Busch. He needs to finish 38th or better. Bobby Labonte in the 18 needs to finish 34th or better, and then Matt Kenseth has to finish 28th or better. What just happened on the screen? Just had a couple cars wreck in practice. Scott Riggs and Ward Burton. Anyway, Matt Kenseth, the last driver above the cutoff line, 28th or better. He'll lock himself in. That is where they have to finish if Rusty Wallace wins this race. So if Wallace wins the race, leads the most laps, they have to finish in those positions. If Wallace ends up not leading the most laps, then they can finish one position behind where they're supposed to finish, respectively. And then, obviously, that's if Wallace leads a lap still with winning the race. If he ends up finishing second, not leading a single lap, then it just starts to go backwards from there. So Wallace doesn't have to win, but if he wins, he's got to hope one of those 3 drivers do not finish in those positions, which, if you DNF, which we see a lot of DNFs in this game, for any one of those 3 drivers, they may finish outside their respective position and open up the door for Rusty Wallace to get in. But we'll have to wait and see here. Not going to keep you guys waiting any longer so we can get this done before the start of the Cup race this afternoon. Green flag is in the air. The regular season finale at Richmond is underway. Jimmy Johnson qualifying on the pole for the 5th time this season. He now has the most poles this year. He'll clear Tony Stewart off the exit of Turn 2. And Johnson will be able to lead the opening lap of the race. He dominated this Richmond race earlier this season, so Johnson trying to go for the Richmond sweep. Looking for redemption after running out of fuel late in the race while battling Casey Kane for the lead last night. Billy Kramer, DB Forever 85, welcome into the stream as well. And thanks for the congrats on 1K. Appreciate it, man. The Chevy win streak had ended last night after Chevrolet had won 12 races in a row. It was Casey Kane in a Dodge, the rookie wheeling himself to his first career win, and a dramatic finish to that one. Jeff Gordon to second, and look who's up to 3rd place off Turn 4. It's Rusty Wallace. In dire needs of a spectacular night tonight. He's going to want to get to the lead as soon as he possibly can and collect as many bonus points as he possibly can as well here today if he's going to want to make it into the inaugural chase. Joshua Rumsey, welcome to the stream as well. Rusty Wallace does seem like he's kind of holding up the pack of cars behind him off Turn 4. He's still in 3rd for now, but they are 2 by 2 off his back bumper as, again, it's the Hendrick Chevys of Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon pulling away as we've seen so many times this season, especially in the second half of the regular season where their dominance has really come into play. They have carried that banner for not only Hendrick Motorsports, but for all of Chevy and all of NASCAR this season. But everything resets when the chase begins tomorrow night at New Hampshire, another track in which Jimmie Johnson dominated earlier in the season. If you actually remember, Johnson led every lap in the first New Hampshire race of the year as it went caution-free, so we'll have to see if they'll be able to do that again tomorrow to get a good jump on possibly winning his first career Nextel Cup Series championship. And then after tomorrow night's stream, we head to NASCAR 21 Ignition on Tuesday night. Daytona 500 on the channel. Full race live stream. Realistic commentary as always. You won't want to miss a thing there. And you also won't want to miss the very beginning of the stream. You guys get to vote what driver we will run as in our opening season for our custom schedule, if a custom schedule is available to run. Oh, that's pretty cool. You get free scanners for the race. It's a nice perk. Yeah, it's only $5 a month, either $5 or $10 a month, to pay for it online to listen to any scanner you want. I recommend it if you go to any races in person, especially. It's a little delayed if you're watching on TV compared to what you're gonna hear. You know, whether you have cable or you stream it, it's still going to be delayed. If you win, I got a surprise. All right. Don't know what that entails, but I guess that's the whole part of the surprise. Johnson is starting to open that gap up here on Jeff Gordon. Jimmie Johnson, definitely the championship favorite. He clinched the regular season title one race early. But it's going to be tough to do that when the chase starts tomorrow night. It's kind of unfortunate we're going to run the first race in the chase tomorrow night, but then we're going to have a little bit of a break before we finish the rest of the season with NASCAR 21 Ignition coming out. We'll have all and only NASCAR 21 Ignition full race live streams for the first couple weeks after the game releases to the public. And then probably once or twice a week we'll get a race in here on this game to finish the season up during the NASCAR off season. But until then, it'll be all NASCAR 21 Ignition as far as the live streams. And then we also are still going to be live streaming live commentary for the Xfinity Series Championship race at Phoenix. I still plan on that. And then also going to Martinsville next weekend. So you guys will get to see an upload of the race highlights from the grandstands as I do for every racetrack I go to. Started last year doing that. Well, obviously, I didn't have the channel before last year, so last year was the first year I started doing it. And obviously, a lot of races this year, and we'll have many more next season and beyond. Wallace is still hanging on to third place back there. A third place finish without any laps led. Let's just say theoretically that's what's going to end up happening. His best chances to get in with Matt Kenseth would have to finish outside the top 32. So that would give Kenseth a few buffer positions there. If Wallace finishes third with 0 laps led. I can very easily see during green flag pit stops that Rusty Wallace would try to stay out longer than everybody else just to get at least 1 lap led. Especially earlier in the race versus later in the race. Get that lap led in. Maybe accept the fact you're probably not going to lead the most considering Hendrick Motorsports has been strong this year and they're looking equally as strong again here today. How long am I streaming for today? Or as far as today goes, just to the end of the race. Yeah, we don't stream any longer than the race itself. Yeah, I guess technically this week, not next week. Yeah, it's NASCAR 21 Ignition literally releases in 2 days. I'll get to quickly check the game out Tuesday morning before I go into work. I'm gonna set my alarm early, make sure everything's gonna get like patched and ready to go, so that way when I get home, everything will be, you know, the first day patch or whatever patches I need will be good to go. Caution already down the back straightaway. It looked like lap 21, our first yellow of the race. So that did not take long. Scott Riggs in the wall. Kyle Petty drills him. So something happened to Riggs off the exit of turn 2 that he hit the wall hard, and Scott Riggs just destroyed the right side of his race car. So that was all towards the back of the pack. Heavy damage to the 45 of Petty, who got the worst end of it. So a very early caution in tonight's race. Or I should say this afternoon's race. Jimmy Johnson out in front. Last time we'll use this test paint scheme this year. Once the chase begins, we'll go back to the normal Lowe's paint scheme for the first few races. Maybe run that Pride scheme a couple more this year as well. That is the restart Rusty Wallace needs to get right to the back bumper as he takes a look for second place into turns 1 and 2 on the restart. Gordon did not take off well compared to the 48 car in front of him. Rusty Wallace is up to second place. Do not count Wallace out as far as trying to get this final spot into the chase. He is not going to give up. He's turned it on the last couple races at 5th and 10th place, finishing the last 2 races. It was just the season consistency in the first half of the regular season, which is what really kind of costed him. Despite the fact that he ended up winning the first race we ever had on this game, which would have been the Budweiser Shootout. That was a non-points race, though. It was back at Daytona in the preseason. Johnson's fastest lap of the early going race is a 21.729. This lap at the start-finish line is a 21.837. He's ran 21.8 for his lap time since the restart. Rusty Wallace is in second. I think Ryan Newman is in third. Jeff Gordon back to 4th place now. Gordon was keeping up with Johnson at least within a couple tenths of a second behind the 48 car, but now that Gordon's no longer in second place, it's Wallace in second, and I don't really think anybody's got anything for Jimmy Johnson on equal tires except for his teammate Gordon, who they likely honestly have equal cars as it is, which is why they've been as dominant as they have so far this year. Johnson's getting great equipment, but so is Jeff Gordon. They're the 2 most winningest drivers so far this year. Gordon with 4 wins, Johnson with 10. And they're the top 2 in the point standings right now. Jeff Gordon has not solidified himself in second. He's still battling Dale Jr. for that second seed into the playoffs, or I guess the chase again. I'm so used to calling it the playoffs now, I got to remember in this game it's going to be the chase. So if I say chase or playoffs, you guys obviously know I mean the chase, but the format might be different now, but it's the same concept. Martinsville pick if he doesn't win today. Why would that change your pick if he ends up winning? Predictions video is up on the channel. Recommend checking that out before the start of today's race. For your last-minute fantasy lineup advice, my prediction to win today's race, predictions for those set drivers that I was talking about, or potential sleeper picks, drivers who weren't going to run well, drivers who will run well as we do on a weekly basis for the Cup Series. Only a couple more of those videos this year. Only got 2 more after today. Martinsville, and I should have that Martinsville video for the predictions at least uploaded before the race on Sunday, because I actually leave Saturday morning. So don't be surprised if you see that up on the channel on like Thursday or Friday. Just for a heads up. I'm not going by myself to the race, so won't be able to do a predictions video from the hotel room exactly. Likely won't. I mean, I guess I could go out to my car, but it'll just be easier to do it in the comfort of my own house. Johnson already out to about a 1.5 second lead after the restart. Dark Crypto, welcome to the stream. Picking a sleeper pick to win this weekend. Picking Tyler Reddick. Not a bad pick. He was really strong at Texas last week. He's been great at the 1.5 miles this year. Reddick is definitely someone to look out for today. Bold prediction, but of any possible sleeper pick, he's the best in my opinion. Gotta assume he is getting super hungry for that first career win. I mean, I know it's Richard Childress equipment, so it's not that top tier, but hasn't won in the Cup Series. It's been almost 2 full seasons now. You definitely tell he'd love to get that win out of the way now before next season begins. So we only had 2 cautions in our Richmond race earlier this season. Already one, though, at lap 21 in today's race. Nobody pit during the caution, from what I would assume at least. And also remember that this should be a 3 pit stop race today, as we saw earlier in the year. These drivers could go over 100 laps. As long as they make it to lap 100, it'll be a 3-stop race today. Hit that like button for everybody tuning in right now as well. Only 3 likes. We've had 7 people watching for this early Sunday afternoon edition of NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 on the channel. We've seen a lot more afternoon races once the off-season hits as far as the weekends go. I work Saturdays, so I guess primarily Sundays, but it'll be wide open to do races at like 2, 3 o'clock when the Cup race isn't going on instead of earlier afternoons. I mean, we could still do the noon starts. I guess it'll be up to you guys what you want to see. Obviously, it'll be with NASCAR 21 Ignition a lot as well. Also, go into the community section on the channel. So if you click on my channel, go to the community tab and put your vote in. We'll have polls not only all day today, but probably into tomorrow as well, and posts as far as what the custom schedule is going to be for NASCAR 21 Ignition if we do have a custom schedule, and then what team you guys want me to run as in the career mode specifically. The first poll up there right now is which of the top tier teams, the A tier teams, would you want me to race as? And then the B tier teams will be on the poll next. Probably definitely by the end of the day, and then same with the C-tier teams also. So the backmarker teams. And then the winner of each of those voting polls will be in the final poll as to which team I will actually run for in the NASCAR 21 Ignition career mode on the channel. So definitely place your vote. You don't want your chance to miss your chance to vote. And see if your vote is going to account for who we will actually race as. Now, we saw how the first and only caution last night at California, lap 99, kind of shaped things out for the end, coming in a very weird spot. right at the edge of the pit window, but actually forcing drivers to pit under the yellow before when they were expected to pit. And we saw a lot of drivers running out of gas at the end of the race, including our driver Jimmy Johnson running out with about a lap and a half to go while he was battling for the lead. So as far as the difference between last night's one yellow and tonight's early caution is that tonight's was so early in the run and so early in the race that it's not going to really affect that too much. But if we get any cautions anywhere near the century mark laps, that could definitely play into effect later into this race, especially if it is, right in the, lap 80 to 90 range or lap 180, 190, 280, 290, whatever it ends up being. Can definitely play a huge, huge factor in the outcome of tonight's race as well. But who would have thought Casey Kane, who brought out the only caution and backed his car into the wall, presumably pretty hard in turns 1 and 2, especially considering the speeds at California, and he was able to come back and win for not only just any win, or not only just his first win of the year, but his first career win. To get that first career win out of the way before the chase even starts, huge for Casey Kane. That win also locked him into the chase on points. Again, the win itself didn't lock him in, but he's 7th in points now. He mathematically is locked in. So great points day for Kane with the win last night. And the rookie has qualified for the chase, and he will be the only rookie driver in the chase when that begins tomorrow night at New Hampshire. Johnson is just slaying the field right now. That caution means that it's going to be a little bit longer before he even catches lap traffic. Single file restart's definitely going to help him. If he has the track position, of course, with being the leader. Is that a good sleeper pick for Kansas? Reddick? Oh, yeah, for sure. Between the RCR cars and then Kurt Busch, I think, are definitely the top 3 sleepers for this weekend. The Chevys have just been so good throughout the year, but primarily those 3 teams on the mile and a half have been pretty solid. Really, last year and this year on the mile and a half, all 3 of those teams have been solid. But more so this season. Chase Elliott's not a sleeper. I didn't even think about that. I thought you were talking about Reddick still. Oh, my bad. I forgot. Dark Crypto was the one that said his pick was Reddick. Not you, Joshua. But no, Elliott's not even a sleeper. I mean, Elliott's my pick to win today's race, but he's not a sleeper. I mean, he won the championship last year, and he has won a couple races this season too. So he is not a sleeper by any means. Sleeper picks are like, I look at it as, maybe equipment or a younger driver that hasn't really won a lot of races. If they're not as consistently up towards the front, with their teams and stuff. Like, I'd even consider William Byron and Alex Bowman. I wouldn't even consider them sleepers anymore. I feel like they've been in the Cup Series long enough. They've got a few wins under their belts. I wouldn't even consider them sleepers anymore, especially, Byron this year being as consistent as what he was. Is the 4th highest average finish, at least before the playoffs started. Probably not so much anymore with the bad luck he's had in the playoff races. And then Bowman's got 3 wins this year alone. So, I mean, really you're looking at like Ganassi cars, Childress cars, Roush cars, front row cars. Like, those are kind of like underdog teams. Not really anybody that races for Penske, JGR. I mean, obviously next year with Cindric being a rookie, that could be an underdog because he'll be a rookie next season. But, You know, if you've been in the Cup Series for more than a couple seasons and you're in top tier equipment, I can't consider you a sleeper. Oh, you got to work tonight. Well, that's a bummer. Yeah, race starts at 3. Eastern Standard Time, at least. Sleeper pick is Chastain. Yeah, Elliott is just not a... He is not a sleeper at all. Surprise is almost here. Well, we still got over 300 laps to go, so I would say almost. As far as the dominance, though, Jimmy Johnson clearly has the fastest car in the field. Jeff Gordon's the only one close, but he had a bad restart, fell back to at least 4th. Not sure if he has gotten back up to 2nd place or not yet, but even if he is, he's 2 seconds off the race lead. Whoever's in 2nd place is 2 seconds off the lead. Now, we haven't seen lap traffic yet the first 65 laps of the caution. Coming out in the middle of the fuel run as it is, you can see the lap traffic is not that much further ahead of Johnson, so we'll have to see how he can get through those guys. Tyler Burback, welcome to the stream. Still 50-50 on NASCAR Ignition. I'm sure there's going to be some aspects you'll like and some aspects you're strongly going to dislike. You don't have to get it right away if you're skeptical. Maybe you want to wait for certain patches to come out for the game. And I mean, once you get a couple months in, though, they're not going to patch the game anymore because they're working on next year's game. And that's kind of the same thing that happened in NASCAR Heat 5, where they were patching it the first few months. Once you got to like August, September, they were done patching stuff. I don't think they made another patch after September. So, you know, the first couple months, you know, the game last week of October, I give them to like maybe the start of next season. But once, you know, the Daytona 500 starts to roll around or February rolls around next year, I don't think they're making any more patches. So you'll know by then exactly what you're going to get 100% with the game. Nothing more, nothing less. Based off of, you know, just previous records of what they've done with the game after its initial release. 10 people currently watch right now. Again, hit that like button, subscribe if you are new to daily NASCAR content. Gonna love the new game regardless. There's definitely some really cool aspects. Like, there's some aspects to the game where it's like, okay, this is awesome, but then there's obviously some huge, you know, issues on the main surface that it's like, okay, this needs to be fixed like right now. The game just, you know, it just doesn't seem like it's ready. Now, again, the game hasn't released to the public yet. I mean, it will in less than 48 hours to those who pre-ordered it, but less than 36 hours, actually. Midnight, out of technicality on Tuesday night, get the release. But that's a positive attitude I like to see, though, Joshua. I just hope the game doesn't completely crash on me like NASCAR Heat 5 did, like even to this day. Like it just crashes randomly. And as long as it doesn't do that, the way the physics look, I think it'll be an alright game. It's not going to be an instant classic, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as what it's looked or that people are, you know, saying it is right now, too. Definitely a high ceiling, but the basement is not as low as people think it is. There's some good qualities. They're just being kind of swept under the rug compared to the main issues. Which, I mean, at the same time, I don't completely blame people for thinking that 100%, but that's just me having a more positive outlook on things in general and trying to, and gotta understand, you know, how far you can go with that kind of stuff. when you break it down into deeper detail. Johnson has had an absolutely clean race so far as he's even worked through the lap traffic. He's been really nowhere close to the wall at all today. Loose getting into turn 3 that time. Yeah, NASCAR Heat 4, definitely the best game of the NASCAR Heat series. Like, the features they brought into NASCAR Heat 5 from that they didn't have in Heat 4, I thought were good features. They were just buggy. You know, if they weren't buggy, I think Heat 5 would have been a better game, but the game crashed too many times, and a lot of them were on the newer features, and like the custom schedule crashes so frequently in that game. If you try to, not like maybe initially, but like like the playoffs, for instance, if you try a playoffs on a custom schedule, the points aren't even accurate. Like, you get into the like, we set originally a 16-man playoff, and after the regular season was over, when the playoffs started, it only had 8 drivers in the playoffs, and then it eliminated 4 after the first round, and then it added like 12 into the round of 8. What was supposed to be the round, like, it wasn't even the same point system. I don't know what was going on there. It was cool to make your own schedule, but points weren't accurate. And it seems like that a little bit with 21 Ignition too, in the sense that there's no stage racing. I hope they get that patch at some point in time. But for the first season, we're just going to have to go without stages. We're just going to have to wait till the next season to get stages. SRL Racing League channel, welcome to the stream. It's strange with the dominance that Hendrick Motorsports has had this year that Terry Labonte's still going to miss the chase. Brian Vickers will miss the chase, although Vickers is a rookie, so he maybe gets a little bit of a pass. Labonte, a series veteran, contact as they were 3 wide. Turns 1 and 2. 153 car had a little bit more room to maybe move up towards that 142 car who was on his outside, and not maybe could have given Johnson a little bit more room, but he didn't. They squeezed together. There was a little bit of contact, but everybody gets through for the most part unscathed. Everybody at least kept it off the wall at bare minimum there, and obviously kept their cars under enough control. I agree with you there, Tyler, especially when you consider you can get a 21 lap on a 21 second on the field in like 5 laps. Like, over time I could see it, but like I guarantee you could take me like 4 or 5 laps and I'd have that big of a lead. Like, I'm like 4 or 5 seconds a lap faster. Please don't wreck. Try not to. We haven't really wrecked that many times this season, so, which is part of what has led Johnson to not only no DNFs on the year, but again, the regular season championship already locked up before today. Really, Johnson is absolutely racing for nothing. We could DNF and finish dead last. We're still going to have the number 1 seed, and there's no playoff points like in today's NASCAR, so, you know, racing for a win doesn't really matter either. I mean, we're just simply racing for statistics at this point. But the next stage of the race for the championship picks up mightily tomorrow night at New Hampshire. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard start time for that race tomorrow night as well. Johnson just looking to keep the momentum rolling and try to get back to victory lane after a 6th place finish last night at California. After trying to put a pass on Ward Burton, who we saw crashed in practice. And it was actually with Scott Riggs. It was a car that ended up in the wall before Kyle Petty hit him just 21 laps into the race, causing the first caution of the race. I wonder how much fuel these drivers might have saved under that first caution as well. If they can somehow make it 125 laps into a run, it could be a 2-pit stop race today. Quarter tank of fuel left at lap 93. I don't think that Johnson could get to lap 125, but we'll see if maybe somebody else is able to save enough gas to be able to do so and maybe make it a 2-stop race. Let's see more cautions before the end of the night as well. You never know. Johnson's definitely been getting a lot loose over the last dozen or so laps. Slid a little bit on corner entry into turn 1 that time as well as he passes Greg Biffle to put the Biffle lap down. Yep, Ward Burton in the 0. Scott Wimmer, rookie, took over the 22 car for Bill Davis Racing at the start of the 2004 season. Got called up for the Busch Series, and Ward Burton had transferred to the 0. Jack Sprague originally was in the 0. He went full-time Truck Series racing after that and ended up actually winning a couple championships in the early to mid-2000s. So that was kind of the silly season between 2003 and 2004. Wasn't many moves, but there was a few. Jeff Green into the 43 as well. Hendrick Hendrick dropping Joe Nemechek to put rookie Vickers in the car, and then Nemechek goes to the 0-1. Filled in after Jerry Nadeau had a wreck right here at Richmond, which ended his career. I hope you like this. I mean, he can't physically give me anything, so, we'll see. We'll see what the surprise may be. We're racing for it. I guess that's what we're racing for tonight. We're not really racing for points. We clinched the regular season title. No playoff points on the line. We're racing for Parkway Intro's surprise. If we go to Victory Lane. Thanks for stopping by, SRL. Hit that like button on your way out, if you haven't already. Yeah, I did see that. Parker Kligerman's racing the 96 car today. I didn't see that until I was putting in my fantasy lineup earlier, and where I had like top Toyota, and he was one of the Toyotas on the list. And I was like, oh, he's in the 96 car today. I didn't know that until this morning, frankly enough. Johnson still got about a 3.5-second lead. It grew initially when he got to lap traffic, but it hasn't really grown that much over the last 20 laps, maybe a couple tenths of a second at the most. But again, we got a long ways to go in this race. Just over 100 laps of the 400 complete. Still got a few more short tracks. Really any track a mile or less in length I consider short tracks. We have 4 left this year. 2 more in the next 2 races. New Hampshire and Dover are the next 2 races, both 1-mile racetracks. Then we go to Talladega for the EA Sports 500. That is going to be a wild card race, to say the least, in the chase, and it's only the 3rd race of the chase. It's going to be a scary day for those 10 chase drivers just trying to survive to the end. Johnson has not won on a super speedway this season, but boy, if he can win, at Talladega. That would be a huge way to break the curse that we've had on super speedways in this game. Possible to finesse Daytona and Talladega and be aggressive on the road courses. I mean, yeah, it's possible. I mean, Daytona and Talladega, they are, yes, they're wild card races in the sense that literally anybody could win. But to be really good at them, it takes a different type of talent. I mean, there's a reason why Ryan Blaney has 3 career wins on super speedways already, all in the last couple seasons. There's a reason why Denny Hamlin is so dominant in the Daytona 500 and he's so good on these super speedways. Like there is a knack for winning here consistently, and those are the 2 best drivers in NASCAR today on the super speedways, in my opinion. So lap 107 coming to lap 108. We got some lead lap cars hitting the pits. Caution is out. Lap 108, right as we were starting to see some drivers hit pit road, we get a caution. Not sure if they made it into the pits or not. Rusty Wallace. Oh, Casey Kane. Last night's winner into the tire barrier hard. He just missed the pits. He was coming in way too hot. He slid the tires and into the barrier he goes. Our second caution of the night already. And Casey Kane going to bring out the yellow. So everybody will hit pit road. Under the caution, I would have to assume. Rusty Wallace might have made it to the commitment line when the caution waved. If that is the case, then he will be the leader on the restart, which is going to give him 5 bonus points. So we'll see if Johnson can hold on at least to as much track position as he can outside of the car, staying out of the pits here. Looking for a clean stop for the first pit stop of the race. And Jeff Gordon going to win the race off pit road. Jimmy Johnson second. So Jeff Gordon will lead the field to the green. Wallace might have actually been a lap down. I didn't think he was. Maybe he got penalized, though, for pitting after the caution wave, so maybe he didn't make it to the commitment line in time. But Jeff Gordon on pit road, his crew's going to win the race there, and that's how he's going to get back into the lead. Johnson takes it 3 wide, though, off the exit of turn 4. Contact with Jeff Gordon. Definitely kind of squeezed the 24 car a little bit as Johnson powers back to the lead. Hopefully everything goes all right for you, Billy. I did see it in that area. There were a lot of thunderstorms that went through, like around the racetrack and stuff last night. But actually, the forecast today looks fairly decent to be able to get the race in at scheduled time. I don't think there was anything above 25% chance of rain today during the race hours, so hopefully they can get it all in. Should be able to. Looking more likely now than what it did even yesterday, though. That's what I mean. I mean, the weather can change overnight, and it seems to be the case in the Kansas City area. How about Elliott Sadler in 3rd place in the early going? I'm going to leave the comment down in the chat for you guys to decide, or the question down in the chat for you guys to decide. Is Elliott Sadler going to see the end of the race? Will he get to the checkered flag, or will he blow another engine? He's in 3rd early on. He's going to miss the chase, and a lot of it is because he has DNF'd in 7 of the last 9 races, all for engine failures. including last night at California. In the first 80 laps, he had blown an engine and actually finished dead last. He was the first driver out of the race. Had a couple cautions. He survived already in the early going to the race. He's up to P3, but I don't think he's got anything for speed compared to the Hendrick cars. Johnson, I think we can all agree, is the fastest of the two Hendrick cars that have been at the front of the field for most of the day. Jeff Gordon restarted in the lead. It only took Johnson 2 to 3 laps. He got around him, and now he's over half a second ahead of him, just slowly pulling away. Billy says yes. He thinks Elliott Sadler will not make it to the end of the race. You know what? I think I'm going to throw my prediction in there, too, and I'm going to say he DNFs again, just for the comical relief. Elliott Sadler would be the only driver to win a race so far this season to not make it into the chase. And again, he won the Daytona 500. Every driver who has won a points-paying race this season is already currently locked into the playoffs. They're all in the top 7 in points. We've had 8 different winners. And the only driver of the 8 different winners who absolutely won't make it is Sadler. He had a great chance in the first half of the regular season. The second half, specifically these last 9 races, have just been abysmal for Sadler. I mean, he's probably averaging a finish outside the top 30 in the last 9 races. The flip of the switch. That team's light just got turned off. Oh, geez, I was looking at the chat there. Big mistake for Johnson into 3. Overdrove that corner quite a bit. Gordon gains a couple tenths of a second that last lap now. Slammed by a storm in California. Well, hopefully everything's all right for you over there, too. DB Forever 85 thinks that he'll get a top 15 finish. I'd say that if he does make it to the end of the race, he will get a decent finish. I just see him making it to the end of the race. That's been the story of his season. So with that caution coming out, it will definitely not be a 2 pit stop race today. Everybody has already made their first stop of the race now. The big loser in that was Rusty Wallace, who likely got penalized for pitting after the caution had pitted or had came out for Sadler hitting the barriers behind him, is my guess, because otherwise I think Wallace would have restarted in the lead. So I believe he is now at the tail of the field. Man, what a tough break for Rusty. He's got laps to try and make it back up again, but it is not looking good unless he gets a ton of help, and he's still going to have a pretty solid run, even if one of those 3 drivers DNFs. He's going to have a top 10 day at the bare minimum. Tyler thinks that Elliott Sadler is going to DNF too. So does Michael Turner. Most of us are in favor that Sadler will DNF today. Poor Elliott. Remember, Dale Jarrett's blown an engine in 3 of those last 9 races as well, also including last night at California. So there are some definite issues with those Robert Yates Racing engines. And it has plagued both drivers from making the inaugural chase. But more so Sadler than Jarrett. Oh, Joshua says that both Dale Jarrett and Elliott Sadler will DNF. It's so strange, too, because specifically last night in California, Sadler blew an engine, and then Dale Jarrett literally blew an engine the next lap. I mean, it's like their engines were timed to expire. Like, they did the same thing to both engines, and just, they both blew up in the first half of the race, too. They only made it through 1 pit stop. One of the first 3 pit stops in the book so far tonight. But again, Sadler currently P3. Picker had a great stop that last stop, probably gained a few positions. And he's holding on. He's not that far behind Gordon for second. He's been within a few car lengths and not letting the 24 pull away. And Gordon not really keeping pace with Johnson like he did in that first fuel run of the race. So maybe Gordon went the wrong way on adjustments. Jimmy didn't adjust his race car at all when he was in the pits. Gordon having this good of a day, now having 5 bonus points for himself. Yes, he's locked into the chase, but he's trying to be the number 2 seed. He's still racing Dale Jr. for that spot. Jr. is locked into a top 3 points finish, but he is trying to move up past Gordon for second. Harvick 4th coming into the day. Ryan Newman 5th. Tony Stewart 6th. Casey Kane 7th. Those are the 7 of the possible 10 drivers who are locked into the chase on points. Where's Cody Ware when you need him to take Sadler out? Yeah, Rick Ware Racing was not around at this time. I don't know who would have been the equivalent to like Quinn Howe for Cody Ware in the Cup Series at this time. 2004. I don't know. I was about to say maybe Casey Mears, but he actually did win a race, so I'm not going to take that away from him. He won the Coke 600 in 07. So I'm not going to say Casey Mears. I don't see Quinn Howe for Cody Ware ever winning a race, but man. I'm trying to think of a backmarker driver that causes a bunch of wrecks. 2004. In the Cup Series specifically. I really don't know, honestly. Maybe Johnny Sauter? I mean, honestly, the way this season's gone, virtually on this season, I'd say Johnny Sauter, but obviously he ended up being a future Truck Series champion, so I don't want to say Sauter either, because at least he had some success in lower series. I don't really think there is anybody that I can compare that to. I can maybe compare it to David Stremme, but he's not in the Cup Series in this game yet, not until the following season. Maybe, actually, it might be 2 more years yet. I forget when Marlin hopped out of the 40 car, if Stremme was a rookie in 05 or 06. I think he was a rookie in 05, but I could be wrong. It might have been 06. Oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Derek Cope is in this game. Well, yeah, Derek Cope would be... How could I forget? How could I forget Derek Cope was in this game? Joshua, you nailed it. He did win 2 NASCAR races in his career, including a Daytona 500. But this was well after... I mean, this was over a decade after that. He was washed up at this time. Even more so than what he was in the 500 in Speed Weeks this year. Patrick Chatterley, welcome to the stream. Up to 9 likes on the stream right now. Only 1 away from 10. We got 12 people watching, so hit that like button, everybody. And thanks for tuning in here. This early Sunday afternoon race, less than a couple hours away, or about a couple hours away from the start of the Kansas Cup race, so we're getting you ramped up for that one. Currently at lap 143 this time by. Johnson has dominated the day so far, trying to get the Richmond sweep on the season. And trying to get that 11th win in this 24-race regular season. If you are just tuning in for the first time wondering what those drivers and positions are underneath where the camera is on the lower left-hand corner of the screen, well, that is the positions for drivers and where they need to finish that are above the cut line. Kurt Busch needs to finish 38th or better. If Wallace wins, 34th or better for Bobby Labonte. and 28th or better for Matt Kenseth if Wallace goes on to win and lead the most laps today. Likely not going to lead the most laps the way Johnson is running now, although Johnson hasn't locked it up yet, so mathematically it's not impossible. Wallace had a pit road penalty under that right as that second caution waved a little bit ago, so he is at the back of the lead lap, but he was as high as second in this race, so you can't count Wallace out of having a good finish. So although he's 116 points out, if any one of those three drivers DNF before the end of this race, Wallace is going to have a shot. I haven't really seen anybody else yet. We'll see. Derek Cope also did it in NASCAR this year. Almost had a crash with him parking on the back. Oh, you're talking about Daytona and the dual race? Yeah. That was, I mean, if he was going to do that, I mean, in defense, NASCAR should have thrown the caution. You know, it wasn't real, like, it would have been a lame finish to the race. But you got to put safety over entertainment at all costs, and in that case, that could have been a dangerous situation. If there was a wreck going into turn 3 down the backstretch, like we usually see on super speedways, especially recently, especially on the final lap where it's more prevalent to happening, yeah, that could have been serious, especially with a 62-year-old man behind the wheel. I mean, he's not exactly a young buck anymore. Can maybe withstand a big impact a little bit better. A 62-year-old with a serious impact like we could have seen if something went really wrong there. I don't think that would have ended up finishing out too well. That was more NASCAR's fault than his fault. Because you gotta think too, like where he was on the apron, there was grass to the inside too, so like he couldn't go into the grass. I mean, you can't just like he was keeping the car on the asphalt. You're gonna damage the race car. He was doing what he could. I mean, the car failed him, but it just so happened Derek Cope was behind the wheel. I wouldn't say that. Jimmy Spencer still won a couple races, and he was fairly competitive in the early to mid 2000s. When he was in the 41 car before Casey Mears, he had a shot to win a few races. So had some decent runs here and there. I would put Jimmy Spencer and Robbie Gordon in the same category, honestly, the way their careers went. I put those two in like a similar category, but I wouldn't go as far to say Derek Cope. He was making the most of decent equipment at times. Not all the time, but at times. He was a far more hothead, too, like Robbie Gordon versus Derek Cope. I wouldn't be able to think of a time that Derek Cope got heated in an argument or after a race or something. That'd be news to me. There we go. Now we got 10 likes on the stream. We're still in the first half of this race. Jimmy Spencer still wants to beat up Kurt Busch. Probably. By his accounts, he did it already. Or at least he punched him in the face. I mean, I don't know if it was just the one punch or multiple punches. That was by his account on the Dale Jr. download, for those of you wondering how I knew that or if you knew it. It was his episode when he was on the Dale Jr. download. He talked about his rivalry with Kurt Busch. Almost a 3-second lead for Jimmy Johnson. We're going to alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race this afternoon. Only one more night race on the schedule after this one. That will be at the Lowe's Motor Speedway about halfway through the chase. That is very true, Tyler. I'd have to agree with you on that one. Johnson may be stepping over the edge a little bit. Corner entry into turn 3. It seems like if he does get loose in a corner, it's more so turn 3 than turn 1. Turn 1 is a little bit wider entry. It's a lot sharper angle on corner entry into turn 3, and I think that might be some of the issue at that end of the racetrack. For the most part, he's getting through there pretty well, though. Remember when Joe Ruttman would immediately go to the garage after starting a race? Yeah, you don't really see starting parts anymore. I don't think you really do in the Cup Series, at least. I don't think there's any starting parts. Qualifying was far more entertaining when you had those larger entries, too. Larger car numbers going to the track each weekend because there was going to be a good chance that a decent car was maybe going to miss. Outside of the Daytona 500, you just don't have that anymore. Maybe next year with a bunch of new teams coming in, you may see it from time to time, but outside of the 500, we'll have to wait and see. Tell you what, those speed weeks next year is going to be very interesting if 2311 can't get a second charter. Could you imagine Kurt Busch missing the Daytona 500? Like, could you imagine how big of a story that would be? That'd probably be the biggest name driver missing the Daytona 500 in decades. And that's under the current charter system. That's not even with the old system. It's crazy. Being told the surprise will have to move to the next. What? What's that supposed to mean? I still don't even know what that entails, but oh well. I don't think they're going to be super competitive. They'll be faster than what they were this year. I think the same thing goes for 2311. Even if they didn't add onto their team and the drivers they added to their organization, I still think they would be a little bit faster just not being in their first year anymore. But see, that 153 car is pinching Jimmy Johnson. Remember, that was Johnson made contact with earlier as Jimmy gets a little loose into one that time. dirtier air, probably upsetting the 48 car, maybe a little bit more as well. He's got a 4.8 second lead. He doesn't have to push extremely hard. Pete Nelson in the 153 car. Johnson gets underneath them into the tri-oval, and they'll make the pass, it looks like, into turn 1. Some scuff marks on the side of that 103 car. He's gotten into somebody. Or somebody got into him, I guess, if he was on the outside. 14 people watching now. Again, thanks for everybody tuning in. Not only like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, but go into the community tab on the channel and place your vote for which team you want me to race for in the NASCAR 21 Ignition Career Mode. Starting next, well, I guess later this week now. We're going to start off with our first season, a custom schedule season. The first couple nights go to some new tracks that will be early on in the schedule and race there for the first couple nights. But the career mode will start on Saturday next week, or this following weekend. So be on the lookout for that. Saturday, Sunday at least we'll have career mode episodes on the channel. There will be 3 separate polls. The next one will be up after this one. The voting closes at the end of the night. So at the end of the night, we'll have our voting closed. Then tomorrow will be the final poll. Essentially, it is the A-tier teams you can vote for right now. And then after the end of the stream, we'll have the second poll up, which will be the B-tier teams. Whatever we see more of in that poll, that will end up taking over that spot. And then the C-tier teams, the backmarker teams, whoever wins that poll will all be into the poll tomorrow. I can't fit all the B-tier teams into one poll. There's only enough for 5 options. So what's going to happen is we'll have an option, or we'll have 2 separate polls, I should say, for the B-tier teams. It'll be 2 separate polls for the B-tier team, so that way we'll have, one A-tier team in tomorrow's poll, 2 B-tier teams in tomorrow's poll, and then the C-tier team. Just because there are too many teams for me to put on one poll for the B-tier. And the teams are too closely related for me to, make, a D-tier team. Like, the Ganassi cars are so equal compared to the RCR cars, and then the 2311 Trackhouse and all that. I just feel like they're just kind of under the same umbrella. Roush as well. Yeah, I mean, Newman has announced his retirement. I know Spire Motorsports, offered him a contract. Maybe he takes up Spire and he's just kind of holding out, waiting for something better. Cup Series, I don't know what he'd be waiting on exactly, but maybe his agent's just telling him to wait. Maybe he'll get something better. But it'd be cool to see him go to Spire, though. I think they'd have to offer him quite a bit of money, though, if he's going to go there. That's a pretty big decrease, even from Roush. 91 car forcing it into the middle lane. Jimmy washes up the track a little bit into the side of Bo Banks. Banks caught a piece of the 43 of Jeff Green as well. Johnson entered really, really deep into turn 3. I don't think he was expecting Banks to send it up the middle like he did, though, too. And Johnson was trying to give him room, and he still slid up into him. Well, I think Corey LaJoie would stay with Spire. He'd probably go to the 77 car because Haley is filled in part-time in the 77, and Haley will be running full-time for Colleague next year in the Cup Series. So the 77 would be the open slot for Newman if he goes to Spire. I would assume LaJoie is going to remain in the 7 car. I'd be shocked if LaJoie doesn't get another season with that team, considering, the few races he ran really, really well. Darlington, he had a career race, as well as Daytona. And even Talladega most recently a couple weeks ago. He looked really good on the super speedways this year. Johnson going to take it 3 wide again underneath Bo Banks. Jamie McMurray. McMurray cleared up high. Banks in the middle lane still into turns 3 and 4. It's going to get tight. Lonnie McKinney on the outside as well. Oh, Johnson slid all the way up into the wall off the exit of turn 4. Got back down to the bottom in front of Banks, who gets really tight into turn 1. McMurray going to try to go underneath of Banks once again now, down the back stretch into 3. Johnson is struggling with the handling of his car in traffic and on these old tires all of a sudden. He's been sliding around a lot more than what he was earlier on. There you see Matt Kenseth towards the middle of the back of the pack right now. That is interesting. Labonte just brushes the wall off the exit of turn 2 now. And there is a little bit of contact with a bunch of cars going 2 by 2 under a blanket. Earl Arnold Jr., welcome to the stream. Corey in the 7, Haley in the 77 next year. Haley is, I could have swore Haley's full-time with Colleague next season. I could have swore they were full-time with Colleague. Unless they're dropping back. See, I can't remember who's taking whose charters for next season. Or what charters are available. So if the 77 is still a car for Spire Motorsports next year, that would be the open ride. Ooh. Ricky Rudd getting into the left rear. Joe Nemechek. Little bump as he's just trying to stay out of the way of the race leader, Jimmy Johnson. Trying to evade to the high side. A little loose, but he'll be able to pull clear the 21 of Nemechek off the exit of turn 2. He even slid off the exit of the corner. We haven't really seen him get loose off the exit of a corner much today. But he did right there. Yeah, Colleague's going to have 2 cars next year. I know Haley signed full-time with Colleague. So, I mean, I don't know exactly what car number he is racing. I don't know. I would assume the 16 would probably be it. So if Spire's going to field 2 cars again next year, I would assume LaJoie's sticking around with them. And then they're trying to get another driver. Again, DiBenedetto, Newman are probably the 2 highest rumored drivers. Well, see, that's the thing, though. If Spire's looking to grow into the future, and they're a team that wants to grow, I mean, they just expanded to 2 cars this year. That tells me they want to grow. You know, if they want to grow and get competitive, they can't sell that charter. They would like the charter. Ryan Newman, Ricky Craven almost made contact as there was another 3 wide situation in 1 and 2. Race leader Jimmy Johnson getting underneath both drivers. Johnson slides up in front of Craven. Newman crosses the 32 car over to the inside. Newman, the first driver, 1 lap down. I'm excited to see the next gen in person next year. I won't be the first to see it in person because the Busch Clash is going to be in LA next season at the Coliseum, but get to see the first points race in the Daytona 500 with him. A lot of unknowns as to how the pack racing at Daytona Talladega will be with this new car next year. So I'll be the first to find out throughout speed weeks. They are supposed to have a in January they're supposed to have a 20-plus car test at Daytona. That would probably be the first look, but honestly, unless they're actually racing each other, like legitimately racing for something, you're not really going to know until you get into the 500. Because even the duels will be a little bit of a representation, but that's only half the field size, so it's not going to be a full representation. Just have to wait and see how it'll all play out. I mean, outside of the numbers being moved forward, that's like really the only thing I'm not a fan of. And you can't completely sell me on with the new pack. Well, that and if the package on the intermediates looks like it did the last couple seasons, that I'm not sold on either. But we only know the horsepower. We don't know, how the cars are going to handle on the intermediates in a pack and stuff either. I'd assume that's what NASCAR is shooting for, would be something similar to what we've seen the last couple of years. But at the same time, we don't know until we actually see those cars on the track. I think Las Vegas is the first mile and a half they go to next season. GMS.gems. Yeah, Allmendinger part-time. I think, Grawl is probably going to be part-time too. Quarter taking fuel left for Johnson, lap 2:02 right now. Still a two-stop race to the end as we're just past the halfway mark. Jimmy's very, very close to clinching the most laps led. He's got about almost a 7.5 second lead over second place. A lot of clean air in front of him. He's got Waltrip coming up soon, but then a pretty big clean air advantage after that. Parkway Intros, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. This is what I have. I had a feeling that the surprise was going to be a super chat. I very, very, very appreciate it though. I think he was holding out to the end and then realized maybe he's not confident I'm going to win the race. Who knows? I mean, we saw last night in California, Johnson led 143 the 250 laps and finished 6th. So anything can happen in a full race. I say it over and over and over again. Last night was a big, big reason why. For super chat. No, we've had a few super chats. I think we've had like 3 or 4 before this. I want to say this is probably the 5th one. I know DB Forever 85 left one a couple nights ago. Inside Uranus has left a couple. I think Tim Urban's left one. So we haven't had, a ton to where like I can remember all of them right now. Later in the future, I'm not going to be able to remember every single one, but the big prize will come next week. Oh boy. My goodness. He's teasing. Putting a little teaser out there. Money coming in. Hey, I appreciate it though. I appreciate you guys just watching the streams and enjoying the streams, let alone, sending money. I mean, I never would have thought, honestly, that like I would have seen any of this when I started the channel. I started it as simply a hobby. First foot in the door. Let's see what happens. The ultimate goal, obviously, was to become a commentator in NASCAR, but the early steps that we have grown in, it's just been crazy in less than 2 years. Michael Waltrip now going to be the first driver 1 lap down as Jimmy Johnson clears him easily off turn 2. Very quick pass there for Johnson. He's got a lot more clean air in front of him. Still got 190 laps to go. 190 laps left. We've seen 2 cautions already in the race today. The last one was right as pit stops were about to start. Casey Kane was, I believe, on his way to pit road. Kind of slid the tires a little bit, ended up in the tire barrier. And then at lap 21 earlier in the race, we ended up seeing Scott Riggs hit the wall off turn 2. Kyle Petty piled into him. That was a big hit as well for Petty. Yeah, Ty Dillon in the 94 for GMS next year. Yeah, I was kind of surprised they went with Ty Dillon, but I guess, he does have experience. A few years of experience in the Cup Series. Maybe they wanted somebody with experience. They knew they were going to get a guy like Newman or DiBenedetto, so they went with Ty Dillon. I don't know. I don't know what kind of funding Dillon brings. I don't think he's got a whole lot with Geico leaving him a few years ago. They were kind of solely with GMS. I don't think that was really Dylan bringing in the Geico funding because Geico was with Casey Mears when he was in the 13 too. GMS meaning Germain Motorsports. Not the GMS you see in the Truck Series now. I don't think that's the same GMS. I think that's Germain Racing. Germain Racing was the 13. Not Germain Motorsports, it was Germain Racing. Pretty sure that's the Gallagher family. That's the GMS in the Truck Series now. That will be running in the Cup Series next year. We will get you there. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. All you guys. A lot of appreciation down in the chat below today. See, I mean, I think Alfredo's an all-right racer. He was rushed to Cup, though. I mean, he never even had a full-time Xfinity Series season. He was rushed to Cup. But I think if he was a full-time Xfinity Series driver, I think he'd be a playoff driver. I think he can do more than what Mike Snyder did this year, and Snyder even won a race. So, I mean, I'm not saying Alfredo would have won, but I think he would have been a lot more consistent in the 2-car than what Snyder was. Snyder is, I mean, if he didn't win, he wouldn't have made the playoffs on points. So, I think he's a good driver, but he shouldn't be in the Cup Series. Not right now, at least. So a lot of drivers have already made their second pit stop of the race. Johnson going to pull down right in front of Tony Stewart into turn 3. Johnson trying to get underneath Gordon, who's just now getting up to speed. Johnson is there into turn 1. And he is going to clear Jeff Gordon off turn 2. Oh, man. Brendan Gaughan missed the pits, and he almost put his car into the wall, much like Casey Kane did earlier. He's down on the apron now. Oh, and I think he hit the inside wall into turn 1 before sliding up in front of Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon. So Gaughan likely going to pit this time by. And he will try to pit this time by. This time he makes it in. So Gaughan misses the pits, but also missed the tire barrier, unlike Casey Kane earlier. Johnson staying out as long as he can in case we get a caution again. Cars One Boy, welcome to the stream. Oh, Johnson got clipped by Sterling Marlin in the 40 off the exit of turn 4. Great save by both drivers. Marlin pushed it too hard to get a lap back on his fresher tires there. Should have been maybe a little bit more patient. Johnson with almost a 15-second lead over second place now, but again, he still has to make his second stop of the day. I've kind of felt DiBenedetto going back to the Xfinity Series for a little while now, but you know, what ride would he take? I mean, Gibbs has another car open, I think. That's likely going to happen, I feel like, but I don't know. We just don't know. Maybe he fills in part-time with Colleague next year and runs a part-time Cup schedule. Who knows? They said it was going to be a part-time race car. Sterling Marlin starting rivalries. Hopefully. We don't need a rivalry with a non-chase driver when the chase is about to begin. We're kind of seeing that situation unfold with Elliott and Harvick now this season. I don't want anything to do with that. And Johnson held his line. Marlin just kind of moved up a little bit too much off the exit of 4 when that contact was made. Jimmy going to be able to go a couple more laps here on fuel. Is probably going to look to pit at lap 229, 230. So So pass Greg Biffle off turn 2. Biffle almost crossed Johnson back over. That was pretty close. Yeah, Hemrick is, that's true. That's true. Hemrick going to colleague. I didn't know if that still left a car open or not, though. Oh, Biffle now just overruns 1 and 2. He was all the way down on the apron on corner entry that time, and he gets into the leader, Jimmy Johnson. Just about spun him out. Johnson really loose into 3 now. Jimmy will pit this time by. Every car in the lead lap is pit except for Johnson. It's lap 230, and Johnson will pit this time. Biffle getting impatient just like Marlin was a little bit ago. 70 miles per hour, the pit road speed limit. This is the first straight flag stop of the day for Jimmy Johnson. Tough pit road to get onto. We've seen some drivers make a mistake. Johnson slid a little bit on the old tires getting to the apron, but he still made it onto pit road. So he will be the last driver to cycle through his green flag stop. Still 1 pit stop out from the finish for everybody else. No mistakes on the second stop of the day for Jimmy Johnson. Get back out there. I'm assuming he will hold on to the lead. And he'll pull back up onto the racetrack now. Easily going to have the lead, even being the last driver to pit. We'll see exactly how big it is. It's about 9.5 seconds. It's a little less than a 9.5 second lead for Jimmy Johnson right now. But again, still 1 more pit stop away from the finish of the race. And we have about 178 laps to go yet as well. 2 cautions so far. I'm not entirely sure we've seen the final caution in this race. Johnson dominating this race like he did earlier this season. Johnson lapped the field in the last race, though, because we had not 1 but 2 cautions in the middle of green flag pit stops, which is why Johnson tried to stay out as long as he could that time. We had a caution right as pit stops were beginning earlier today. We got through without a caution that time around. Still 1 pit stop to go. We'll see how that'll cycle through, if it does actually get a chance to cycle through at all. I don't know. I haven't really looked into detail exactly what's going on with the Petty Ware chartership, but I think I just created a chartership. I'm going to start calling it a chartership now just because I accidentally said that. Oh, bump and run, 142 car. Trying to move rookie Brendan Gaughan out of the way. Johnson underneath that 142. Johnson clears him. Still inside Gaughan. He has not cleared the 77 car yet. Now he'll clear him into turn 3. Well, there's Rusty Wallace up ahead. He's going to battle hard to try and stay in the lead lap. He's in desperate need of a caution. Trying to keep his championship hopes alive. F1 for once on ABC. They usually run the COTA race on ABC. I remember the last 2 years ago, I know for a fact it was on ABC because that was the only F1 race I had watched for a while. 2018. 2018 or 2019? I think it was 2019. Yeah, it was probably 2019. Looks like no one's DNF'd yet. I'm assuming nobody's DNF'd. Unless we had some blown engines before the first 2 cautions of the race. We know Dale Jarrett and Elliott Sadler are still in the race. We're actually about to go lap down here before long. Kyle Petty up high. Rusty Wallace cleared him quickly, but now he overdrove 3 and 4 to the high side himself. Jimmy Johnson is underneath Rusty Wallace. Rusty going to go lap down. He's at least the first car lap down, so he can get the free pass if we get a caution before Johnson passes another lap car. Rusty overdrives 3 and 4 again, but so did Johnson. That would have been a great opportunity for Wallace to make the pass, but he overdrove the corner as well. I can't tell, a 103 car. Thought he was going to take it 3 wide there, but Jarrett luckily cleared Rocky Perry in the 143. And now Clay Dixon does as well. Luckily, Rusty is still the first car lap down. The 143 of Rocky Perry, the 103 of Clay Dixon, they were already at least 1 lap down. Dale Jarrett's the last car in the lead lap in the 88 right now. Vickers also in the lead lap still. Johnson underneath Jarrett off turn 4. Now Wallace is going to have to try and run down the 88 and the 25. Johnson is going to clear his teammate down the back straightaway. Jarrett to the inside of Vickers for the free pass position into turn 3. NASCAR 21, welcome to the stream. Not doing commentary today. Not doing them for the Cup races anymore this year. For what I have scheduled, I'll be at Martinsville next week. We were originally going to do the Kansas race today, but I ended up doing Talladega on a last-second whim. So Dega was the last Cup race we did a live commentary for. I plan on doing the Xfinity Series Championship race at Phoenix in a couple weeks. That will be the next live commentary for an actual race this season. And it will also be the last one, but we'll definitely come back out again next year. We'll do a bunch more like we did this year. We did a lot more at the beginning of the schedule. Granted, I didn't go to a race until Talladega, which was the 10th race of the year this season. So even though I went to 11 races, all 11 were in the final 27 races of the year. By the time I go to Martinsville, at least. So that's why we did a lot at the beginning of the year. Now, next year, I'm going to a lot of races more towards the beginning of the season. Daytona, hopefully Auto Club. Definitely plan on going back to Atlanta with the repave towards the beginning of the year. Dirt Bristol in April on Easter next year. Those are 4 races I'm going to in the first, 10 or 11 races of the season. So, but you'll definitely be seeing more again next weekend for sure. Yep, they are racing at Coda today. So this will be the final stream, I should say, and the final video for the day. But again, keep an eye on those polls throughout the rest of the day. Post-race analysis from today's Kansas Cup race will be on the channel tomorrow. Our next full race live stream will be tomorrow night on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 at New Hampshire, our first race of the Chase. Pete Nelson. He's been racing Johnson pretty aggressively tonight. He's going to try to take it 3 wide into turn 3. Little dicey. All clear. Oh, man, I think he put Wimmer in the wall. He either put him in the wall or Wimmer got in the wall on his own. I mean, they were 3 wide. That didn't help. But Scott Wimmer brushes the wall off turn 4. Again, we do stay green. Just less than 150 laps to go now. Johnson leads. I mean, you can't completely count Rusty Wallace out with only being one lap down. Could take the wave around, get a quick yellow, or, you know, again, the lead lap cars, or the lap cars, I should say, line up to the inside of the lead lap cars. So with him being one of the first cars one lap down, he would be up towards the front of the field at least, try and race his way back on the lead lap and then get a quick caution there as well. But it is definitely a tough break for Rusty Wallace, and that pit road penalty is coming back to bite him, which was just nothing of his fault. Again, he pitted after the caution wave, or hit the commitment line after the caution wave when Casey Kane hit the tire barrier, breaking out the first yellow at lap 107, or second yellow at lap 107. The longest green flag run of the night so far. We've gone almost 150 laps without a caution. F1 paying tribute to Bubba's win. Oh, that's interesting. Well, it's good that they're putting NASCAR in a positive spotlight at least. Or they could have just completely buried them. Like, look at how many more fans we have at the same track that NASCAR had at COTA this year. Which, I mean, they did. NASCAR had a lot of fans at COTA this year. They had, what, over 100,000? But Formula One, I mean, it's always going to nearly sell out everywhere they go. I mean, you got to figure they only go to a lot of these countries once a year. It's their only chance to see the Formula One race. So more people are going to flock to that today. But hopefully that race is over before the start of the Cup race today, so it doesn't hurt the TV ratings with the Cup race too bad. Oh, man, big hit into the wall for Ward Burton off the exit of Turn 4. That was really weird. It looked like he was going to hold the corner perfectly fine right behind the 48 after Johnson cleared him, and he just got tight all of a sudden into the wall. Lost a bit of control in the front tires with that race car. Johnson under Mark Martin. Jeff Burton up here as well. Both these Roush cars going to miss the chase. It will be the next season, though, in 2005, where I think you're going to see Roush take a big step up. I know Matt Kenseth won the championship in 03, and technically, Kurt Busch won the championship in this 2004 season, which he is trying to qualify for the chase along with his teammate Kenseth here, but they're 8th and 10th in points coming in, and Roush Fenway has not won a race this season. Again, the only Ford to go to victory lane was Elliott Sadler and the season opener in the Daytona 500. Want me to win? Well, we're looking good. We definitely got the fastest car. Just got to keep the track position. Keep the track position. Hope for no more cautions, if at all possible. Johnson has ran his fastest lap of the race during this current fuel run as well, 21.678. That jumped up a tenth of a second roughly from the previous two runs in the race. Yeah, I guess it would have been the previous two fuel runs. Sure, when that pit window opens up here in about 30 to 40 laps, you're going to see some drivers short pit, as we've seen pretty much every race this season. We do that in these EA Sports games. Saw it in NASCAR Thunder 2004 as well. I'm sure you're going to see it in 06 and beyond when we get there eventually down the road as well. We're going to alternate through the different camera angles one final time in today's race. About 8 lap stretch we'll do this for. Although this 48 car has been dominant tonight, it's still nowhere near as dominant as that New Hampshire car he had in the middle of the season. So definitely can't wait to get back to New Hampshire tomorrow night, see if Johnson Can do pretty well again there. Remember, he led every single lap after qualifying on the pole in the first New Hampshire race this season. And he made the race on 2 pit stops where everybody else had to make 3. Johnson closing in on Greg Hicks in the 107 car. Jimmy looking low into 3. He'll make the pass. The race, I don't know the official start time off the top of my head, but the coverage starts at 3. So the start of the race will probably be between 3:15, 3:20 if I had to guess. I know if you go onto the NASCAR Fantasy app, it'll show like when the time locks for the race, and usually it's exactly 5 minutes after that time is when the race actually starts. Like the actual drop of the green flag itself. So if it says like 3:18, then the drop of the green flag scheduled for 3:23, or if it's 3:15, drop of the green flag scheduled for 3:20. So it locks 5 minutes before the start of every Cup race. Supposed to, at least. Johnson has not been as fast this run. That's something I really have noticed. He pitted about 45 laps ago now, and he's only gained about pulled away 2 to 2.5 seconds during this run, and he had about a 9.5 second lead at the end of the last fuel run. So let's see. We'll go back to the far chase cam for the final 125 laps in tonight's race now as well. Yeah, I saw that video on YouTube yesterday. Oh, Jeff Green got into the wall off turn 2. He pushed the car a little too hard. Johnson got around him there, and then in 3 and 4, he pushed it hard again. Tagged the left rear of Johnson. Luckily, Jimmy did not spin out there. Got very lucky. It's the 3rd time we've seen somebody get into the left rear corner panel of the 48 car after getting lapped. Saw it with Jeff Green right now, right before the last pit stop. You saw it with Greg Biffle as well. And a couple laps before Biffle did it, saw Sterling Marlin do it. Speaking of Sterling Marlin, he's the next car Johnson's going to try to pass. Also on the channel tomorrow, we will have the weekly streaming schedule posted in the community tab as well. Those are every Monday. I'm off of work, so those will always be up Monday morning. Tomorrow's start time will be 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at New Hampshire on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005, our first race of the chase. But as far as the rest of the races for the week, no scheduled start times yet, but that will be up on the channel tomorrow. I'll know officially. Especially with going into Martinsville this weekend. I won't be able to stream Saturday or Sunday. But we'll have premieres on the channel of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. Again, the live streams will be the season mode races, custom schedule, and then our second season, which will be the normal schedule from 2021. And then the career mode episodes will be premiered. I may live stream a career mode episodes here and there, but not all the time. Most of those will be premiered. And they won't be, like, I'll run full races for the career mode races, but the career mode races will be shortened to, like, 40-minute videos, roughly. There'll be, like, a highlight video of, you know, for instance, qualifying and everything else. So that will be premiered. The video will top out at, like, 40 minutes for each of those career mode races that are not live streamed. I'm on Thursday next week. I plan on running a lot of races that day, and probably in the morning right when I get up, I'll do the 500 for the career mode, and then, or, you know, maybe if I have time throughout the, I probably won't, Tuesday and Wednesday with work and, you know, doing the live stream later that night, but I'll do what I can. But I should definitely have a premiere on Saturday, and I'll do my best to get one up on that Sunday. Johnson going to get around Terry Lobani. Johnson's thrown that gap out in just 10 laps, 11 laps now. He has pulled away a little over a second and a half again over second place. The rest of the cars on the lead lap are desperately going to want a caution here if they're going to want a shot to beat Jimmy Johnson. Haven't seen anybody make their final pit stop yet. The window is open to the end of the race right now. And right as I say something, somebody is entering pit road this time by. Just one driver off turn 4 that last lap. Hopefully it's not a blown engine. I don't think it was somebody who blew an engine. No, it was not. It was the start of green flag stop. So here they are. 2, 3, 4 drivers now on their way into pit road, making their final stop of the day, and it will be under green. Rusty Wallace making his way off pit road. He's short pitting. He's got nothing to lose. He's already one lap down. He wasn't in the free pass position. So instead of staying out as long as he can, hoping for a caution, he's going to short pit, try to gain as much time as he can for when Jimmy Johnson decides to make his final stop. Oh, Danica's one of the reporters for the F1 race? That's crazy. I mean, she does have experience racing Indy cars. I know they're a little bit different, but similar open wheel racing series, as far as speeds and everything go. I'd say she'd be more fitting for a commentary role in open wheel racing than stock car racing. So. Not bad. Brings the draw, of course, obviously, because a lot of people know the name Danica Patrick, especially in the U.S., so it only makes sense that she's doing the COTA race. Six straight games with an interception. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Chiefs this year. The Packers are playing the Washington football team right now. I did get alerted that Rodgers threw a touchdown pass to Adams earlier in the day. Closing in on about 100 laps to go here today at Richmond. We're almost 200 laps into this green flag run. Mean in NASCAR, but she was a good IndyCar racer. She's not a terrible race car driver, just a terrible NASCAR driver, that's all. But I mean, there's very few drivers that actually made it work from an open wheel background in NASCAR. I mean, let's be honest. Well, Pablo Montoya is probably the number one on that list, but I mean, I can't name anybody else that had a super successful career. Sam Hornish is probably number two only because he competed for Xfinity titles, but I mean, outside of that, any success at all, I just don't think there is anybody else there. It's just she was in the Cup Series a lot longer than a lot of those other drivers, except for Montoya, but Montoya had a couple wins to back it up then. And he was very consistent, too, even without wins, by far, compared to any other open-wheel driver that ever really attempted in NASCAR. I guess, okay, in all fairness, I guess Mario Andretti won a Daytona 500, so I guess there's that. But that was also back in the 60s. Johnson with a 15-second lead now. I think Kurt Busch, he has not pitted at least, is on the lead lap. Well, he wouldn't be any more off turn 4. Johnson's going to clear Busch. 100 laps to go at Richmond. That's it for the regular season. Kurt Busch still in the race. We know Kenseth's in the race. We haven't seen Bobby Labonte in a while. Hopefully he's still in the race. If not, that could be the opening for Rusty Wallace, but Wallace being a couple laps down right now, he's really banking on this staying green at least to cycle through pit stops, and then from there, maybe he can gain some more positions if more cars get trapped a lap down with a late caution on a restart, but for right now, it's going to be tough for Rusty to get in. Chiefs are down 17-0. That's crazy. Derrick Henry going off again. He's on my fantasy team. Denny Hampshire. I didn't even see that comment from you, Dark Crypto. .96 to go. Johnson can still go a little ways on fuel yet, too. He last pitted at lap 230. We can go over 100 laps, so I mean, he's still over 30 laps away from his final stop. And there were very few drivers that actually have made their final stop already. Quite a few of them still have to pit. Johnson's got about a 3/4 of a lap lead over second place to this point. The last went green at lap 110 following the last yellow, so in just a few more laps, we will be at a 200-lap green flag run. That will be the length of half this race. Yeah, I had the third overall pick. Going into the draft, Derrick Henry was my number one. Like, if I had the number one pick, I was going to take Derrick Henry, and he fell to 3 because McCaffrey went, and I forget who else went ahead of Henry. It might have been Devontae Adams, I think. Or not Devontae Adams. I meant Aaron Jones. No, Jones went after me. Who was it? Can't remember who went second. Anyway, I took Henry at 3. He was my number one, so I was happy with that. I was like, all right, I will gladly take Derrick Henry. Then I took DeAndre Hopkins in the second round. Yeah, he's been scoring pretty good this year. That third round coming right back, I took Adam Thielen. And then I got Kyler Murray in the fourth round. Heck yeah. Without a doubt. Yeah, I'm liking my team this year. I got Leonard Fournette in the 8th round. I waited on a running back, took Fournette in the 8th round, and he was my second running back, and he's had a pretty decent season. My bench has needed work pretty much the whole year, but my starters are scoring every week, so might as well. I mean, yeah, I'm trying to fix the bench as much as I can. It's just not fixable at this point, but I'm 4-2, and I am tied for third in the league. The two teams are 5-1 going into this week, and we got 3 teams at 4-2. Trying to win my second fantasy football championship in 3 years. Just as good in fantasy football as fantasy NASCAR. Yeah, usually California, it doesn't rain much. They might have a monsoon game tonight. There was a game last year. Wasn't it the 49ers in Washington? They played in the monsoon, basically. And the final score was like 9-3 or 9-6, something like that. Like they just couldn't move the ball on either side. There was guys slipping. It's the craziest thing. Yeah, I never really tried. The only other fantasy I've even tried is baseball, but you have to keep track of it like every day, and I forget my lineup like probably twice a week, so couldn't really do anything there. Johnson's, for right now, still mowing through this lap traffic. Tell you what, there definitely can't be that many drivers on the lead lap right now. Oh, car in the wall. Bo Banks off turn 4. We stay green. Labonte races right around him. He was in line behind his teammate in the 192, and he just slipped all the way up the track, hard into the wall there. But we do stay green. Johnson's got about an 18-second lead right now over second place. Henry has a touchdown in the game. Awesome. Awesome to hear. Dude's a beast. $23-0 Titans. My goodness. Sure, Danny B's happy about this. Between last week and the start of this game, this is the best the Titans have looked all season. I mean, Mahomes will get something going. I like that. KC will score. Wasn't it the Titans last year that was up big early on Kansas City in the playoffs in Kansas City? No, it was Houston. My bad. It was Houston. They were down like 24-0 at the end of the first quarter. They came back and they had the lead before halftime. Insane. I mean, they're easily a team that could go out there and do that again. All right, so still waiting on Jimmy to make his final stop of the day. 80 laps to go at Richmond. A lot of drivers still have to make their final stop. But easily a one-stop race to the finish. No fuel mileage race like you saw last night at California. Caution comes out now. Everybody would just pit. And that hasn't pit already. The drivers that did pit would take the waiver out. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was Houston. That was probably the craziest thing I think I've ever seen in a playoff game. That and the finish to the Cardinals and Packers game back in 2015 was wild, too. Well, Nelson's trying to block Johnson again. No surprise. Into turn 3. Oh, my goodness. He hit the wall, and up the track he goes. Oh, my goodness. That was terrible by Pete Nelson. Throwing the block on the leader to the bottom. He put himself in the inside wall. And then he had Casey Mears up high on him, and he turns both cars into the outside wall. Johnson gets by unscathed. We do stay green. What is Pete Nelson thinking? Rookie of the race goes to Pete Nelson. My goodness, what was that? Talk about a lack of awareness. Also talk about overdriving a race car. Tennessee's defense is not that far ahead of them, though, too. Tennessee's D was good on Monday night this week, but I had them on my fantasy team and dropped them a couple weeks ago because they've been so bad. First couple weeks of the year. Dropped them for Cincinnati last week, and Cincy scored me 11 points. Shutting down the Lions. So I know it was the Lions, but thought it was a good pickup at least for 1 week. I won last week, so it worked. I didn't win because of that. I would have won otherwise because Henry went off Monday night. But I'm content with my team. Could be better, but could be a lot worse. F in the chat for Pete Nelson, by the way. From a couple laps ago, if you are just tuning in, he just clobbered the inside wall into turn 3. You can see the scuff mark down there. And then after hitting the wall, he ended up taking Casey Mears with him to the outside wall. And 3 and 4. All in an attempt just to block the race leader Johnson. Nelson was already a couple laps down, so I don't even know why he did that. A lot of drivers making their final stop here over the last few laps. Johnson, again, going to stay out as long as he possibly can, hoping for a caution. Jeff Gordon, who was in second, has just hit pit road. So Jimmy Johnson is now the last car on the lead lap that still has to make his final stop. He had an 18.5-second lead over Gordon, so he's just going to stay out of the pits as long as he can. He's not going to give up that much time. Might as well just play the factor of maybe we'll get another caution. Had 2 of them, but it has been over 200 laps since the last yellow. Cycle through 1 set of stops. We're in the middle of the second set. Oh, contact getting into 3 up ahead. 3 cars getting into one another there, but we do stay green. It's not that far ahead of race leader Jimmy Johnson. That's one thing if we do get a caution. Johnson hopes there's nowhere around him. And there is Bobby Labonte. So Labonte, Kurt Busch, Kenseth all on the racetrack still as far as we know. As of the last we've seen them within the last handful of laps. Oh man, that's the second time Brendan Gaughan has missed pit road today. And luckily he missed the tire barrier for the second time as well. So Brendan Gaughan has been having issues trying to get to pit road. That could have been a caution. If he would have nailed the barrier, that's how Casey Kane brought out the first caution of the race. Sorry, the second caution of the race. Oh, no! Contact between Johnson and Gordon. Robbie Gordon, that is. Again, off the exit of turn 4. Seems to be where Johnson ends up making contact with the lap cars. I should say the lap cars make contact with him. Oh, Scott Wimmer misses the pits now, and he almost ends up into the tire barrier. That was an even closer call than what Brendan Gaughan had. Now we got a driver blowing an engine in turns 1 and 2 on the inside of the track. Oh, that's going to stack up the field. It's Kyle Petty in the 45 who is blowing an engine. He was involved in the first caution way back at lap 21. He's trying to nurse it to pit road. We have had pandemonium here the last handful of laps as Johnson passes Mears off turn 4 into the tri-oval. Which is again leading for Johnson to want to stay out of the pits in case we get a yellow. And we trapped the field 2 laps down. Why is NASCAR and F1 having same start times? F1 race starts at 3 p.m. East. I don't know. I mean, they're both in the same time zone, too. I think Texas, or Coda, where Coda's at, is Central Time Zone. I know Kansas is Central Time. So they're both at 2 p.m. local time. But, yeah, that stinks that they're having the same start time. And with the F1 race on cable, or not on cable, and the NASCAR races on cable, the main ABC versus the secondary NBC Sports Network, NASCAR ratings are not going to be good this week, unfortunately. Yeah, Kyle Petty may be the first DNF of the race. We don't know that for sure, but the first we've actually seen of somebody blowing an engine so far tonight. He was not in contention to make it into the playoffs at all. Hopefully Elliott Sadler blows an engine. We got 60 laps to go yet. Sadler can still blow an engine. I'm just expecting it at this point. Casey Mears underneath Johnson off the exit of turn 4. Trying to battle back. That's the first we've seen anybody pass Jimmy Johnson today. Lap car Casey Mears, I know he's got fresher tires, but still the first time we've seen anybody pass Johnson. Took over 340 laps of the 400 to do it. Johnson passed him back, though, in 3 and 4. Again, Jimmy had time to give up. He would likely not have an 18.5 second lead like he did on Gordon before the stops if it cycles through. But if it does cycle through and we get a caution late in the race, and if we end up seeing pit stops late in the race too, remember it was Jeff Gordon who won the race off pit road on Jimmy Johnson. And have they made enough adjustments to the 24 car to try to keep up with this Hendrick teammate? Johnson on fumes at this point. We're taking a few more laps. Getting a little loose that time into 3. Probably won't catch another lap car before he pits. Plenty of room behind him for when he does try to duck onto pit road. Sadler blows an engine for the comical relief of today's race. That's fine as long as it doesn't bring out a caution with somebody getting into the back of him. We've seen that a couple times in this game. With it being a short track, I feel like it would be more possible here than most other racetracks. Here on road courses seems to be where we've had those kinds of issues. Johnson will pit at lap 349 this time by. It will be his final pit stop of the race, presumably. 4 tires and fuel will be coming for the 48 crew. Pete Nelson in the 153 is the next lap car ahead of Johnson. So right rear getting a little bit more worn as Johnson heads into the pits this time, no problem. No speeding penalty there, 4 tires and fuel. I think Johnson's only had like 2 or 3 speeding penalties all season, which is not bad at all, considering that we are in the 24th race of the year. None tonight. For the 2 green flag stops, 3 stops total. Final stop of the day for the 48 crew. Hopefully it's a clean one, but if not, at least they have a little bit of room for error. Don't tell these guys that, though. Imagine the AI race like this NASCAR ignition. Well, it'd be a lot better foundation of a game. Personally, I think it'd be maybe, well, I don't want to say better career mode because this was a good career mode because it's the first year that the Busch and the Truck Series were in the games too. Johnson cycles out of the pits. Gordon gained a few seconds. We got 50 laps to go at Richmond. About a 15-second lead for Jimmy Johnson now. Gordon gained about 3.5 seconds. Oh, contact down the back straightaway. Michael Waltrip got pinched into the wall by the 142. Or sorry, the 107 of Greg Quick. It was right underneath him there. Not that far in front of the race leader. Heavy lap traffic in front of Johnson. And he's just hoping everybody keeps it clean to the end of the race. Jimmy does not want to see a caution, especially this late in the going with a gigantic lead. More contact up ahead. Ricky Craven put the bumper to whoever he's trying to pass now as he's on the inside of somebody. And it looks like it's Rusty Wallace in the 2. I wonder if Wallace got back on the lead lap. He was like the first car to hit pit road, or one of the first. And I wonder if he was able to get enough time, and he's actually on the lead lap right now and not a lap down. I would imagine he gained some positions out of it as well. Well, whether he's 1 lap down or no laps down, he needs a caution before the 48 gets back around him. Johnson overdrove 3 into the left rear of Waltrip. Little accidental bump and run there. Waltrip trying to cross over the 48 of Johnson. Turns 1 and 2. Jimmy up high. Waltrip's like, all right, you got into me. I'm going to try to hold you up. And he'll clear. Oh, Jimmy pulled down on Mark Martin. Johnson pulled down on top of Mark Martin off the exit of 4, trying to undercut the 15. It's going to buy Rusty Wallace a little bit more time, and he's going for a pass for position on his teammate Ryan Newman. I would expect his teammate will let him go. Well, not that time. They're still stuck behind Craven, whoever the car in front of Craven is. Holding the Penske duo up. Johnson clears Waltrip back cleanly that time around. Got Joe Nemechek. Or sorry, Brian Vickers in the 25 right ahead of Ricky Craven. Nemechek was in that car in Thunder 04. Well, still has not gotten around Newman, and he is going to be in trouble here before long. Johnson is ripping to the inside of Rusty Wallace. If we don't have many cars out of this race yet, which I don't believe we do, you can still see a DNF out of really any one of those 3 drivers above the cutoff line, and Wallace may actually be in the top 10. Rusty overdrove turn 3 by a long shot that time, barely kept it off the wall in the middle of the corner, but he loses a lot of time now behind not only race leader Jimmy Johnson, but Ryan Newman as well. And if Wallace is a lap down, Newman would be the first car 1 lap down. If Jimmy gets around him, Johnson will clear Newman into turn 3. $40 to go at Richmond. Been pretty heavy lap traffic for Johnson since getting out of the pits for making his final stop of the night. Craven clears Vickers back off turn 2. Vickers looks like he'll try to undercut the 32 car into 3 and 4, and he's on the inside again. They're side by side. 22.002 that last lap for Johnson. About a half a second slower than his fastest lap of the race. About 0.4 of a second slower. Looks like Vickers and Newman have passed Craven that last lap. Craven made a crucial mistake off turn 2, getting back to the gas. Allowed those two to get the run in 3 and 4 to pass them respectively. $27 Huffman Titans, that is insane. Talk about a beatdown. $33 laps to go at Richmond. These laps are going to fly by quickly to the end. Giving less and less time for a caution to potentially come out. Giving Jeff Gordon a shot at his teammate to win the race. Gordon can hang with him for a little bit, at least on the initial start of the race, leading up to the first caution. But when he restarted in the lead after the second caution of the race, for winning the race off pit road under the yellow, he was only able to hold on for 2 or 3 laps. Johnson passed him and just pulled away right after that. Russell Jackson in the 142 car will be the next lap car ahead of Jimmy. Johnson won't go on to lead every lap in this race, but he's going to be pretty well close to that. And the only laps I could think of off the top of my head we did not lead was simply when Jeff Gordon beat Jimmy Johnson off the pit lane. So Gordon would have led some laps under yellow. Then he led the first 2 or 3 laps when we went back green. Those are the only laps Johnson has not led today. So if he leads to the end of this race, he's going to lead over 390 laps of the 400. It also goes to show how hard it is to lead every lap in a race. For everything to go right, he did not survive both cautions, just the one, at least so far. But again, Gordon with enough of a pace that he'll remain on the lead lap the rest of this race. No matter what happens here, as long as he stays in the race. He will have a shot if we get a caution. Especially if the caution comes before 10 laps to go, you're going to have lap cars on the inside of the lead lap cars. They might get in the way of the 48 enough to hold Jimmy up. Yeah, I'm not even sure who the last car to lead lap is. I mean, it could be possible that Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson are the only 2 cars on the lead lap right now. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know how many more cars would be on the lead lap. I'm assuming Gordon's still in second, too. I guess we don't know exactly if he's still in second after the last pit stop. I know he was in second before the last pit stop started. Maybe somebody cycled ahead of him after short pitting when the window's still open, or first open, compared to when Gordon pitted about 30 to 40 laps after the pit window opened. Johnson with the pass on Riggs. Side draft on Rocky Perry. Another blown engine on the inside. Casey Mears in the 41. Had pretty heavy contact with Pete Nelson earlier in the race. Not that long ago either, really, within the last 50 laps. So Casey Mears' engine has expired. I was waiting to see if it was Sadler. Anytime I see smoke anymore, I think it's Sadler, like every time. Even if he was already out of the race. He came back out and blew him his next motor. Well, contact Johnson kind of cleared a little early on the 198 car. Off the exit of turn 2. Mears still trying to make his way to pit road, and finally we'll get down there. 20 laps to go. We remain green as Casey Mears stays out of the way on the apron of the track, and he makes it into the pits. Johnson has now expanded the lead up over 16.5 seconds. His largest lead of the day is about 18.5 seconds. "19 laps left. And, I mean, that's 2 engine failures we've seen in the last 30 laps or so. Jeff Creed sends it underneath Jimmy Johnson. Didn't clear him off turn 4. He may be the second car to complete a pass on the 48. And he does. Johnson going to cross him over, though, off the exit of 2. Tries to get around the 43 car cleanly. And he will. He'll clear. Green off the exit of turn 4. So be a 290 lap green flag run to the end of the race if we don't get another caution. Somewhat similar to really the last 2 races. Had 1 caution at California, 1 caution at Bristol. They were both in the first half of the race. The entire second half of the race went caution free. This one we had 2 cautions in the first half and none at all in the second half. My goodness, Keegan Kardashian. Welcome to the stream. I think you're stretching for that one. Well, yeah, that'd probably be my name if I had that last name. We got another driver who blew an engine. He made it to pit road, though. So a lot of engines expiring here late in the race. It looked like the 142 car, but I'm not entirely sure. I know it definitely wasn't Elliott Sadler. It didn't look like his car. 11 to go at the line. Most of the race without an engine failure. We've seen 3 within the final 50 to 60 laps of tonight's race. A little Sunday drive for Jimmy Johnson on this Sunday afternoon. 10 laps to go, and a race he's absolutely obliterated the field. Wish it was Sadler. Race isn't over yet. I could totally see Sadler blowing an engine like we saw Bo Banks blow an engine on the last lap at Bristol and just trying to coasting it back to the finish line just to finish the race, even if he loses a bunch more positions. I mean, Sadler was 3rd the last we actually saw of him. Well, he wasn't in 3rd when we saw him the last time. I guess we lapped him last time we saw him, but there you go, 8 to go. Jeff Gordon a few tenths of a second faster the last couple laps. It looks like Pete Nelson is the next lap card for the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. Johnson better be careful around Nelson because he has been a near wrecking ball in this race. If we have an award for the rookie of the day, it would be Pete Nelson. Nelson in the 153, 6 laps to go this time by. Johnson will catch Nelson before the end of the race. Jimmy's still pushing hard to try and get to that white flag as soon as he can. You can see Dale Jr. back there. I believe he's the last car in the lead lap. Not sure what position he's in, but Dale Jr. is the last car in the lead lap, and he's battling underneath somebody. It looks like the 192 car. One of the other generated drivers. 5 laps to go. Johnson quickly gets under Nelson. Nelson's just going to let Jimmy go this time. I think he found out last time and he tried to block him and he put himself into the inside wall, then into the outside wall with Casey Mears. I think he realized, okay, well, I'm not going to do that again. Unfortunate for him, it had to take a mistake to learn. Junior's really been battling with that 192. With not that many cars on the lead lap, we get a caution late in this race. Chance he can get back. I think the 192 put the bumper to Dale Jr. in the middle of 1 and 2. Saw some sparks flying up ahead. Looked like they made contact. 3 to go now. Had some late race yellows this year, but we have not had a green-white checker at all this season. Two to go now. I do not have a favorite car dash. Does Kanye count? Just because he's a little out there? I mean, they're all out there, let's be honest. But Kanye's the kind of person that, like, everybody laughs at, not laughs with. That's kind of like what I give out of Kanye. Well, we're on the final lap, and now the final time through turns 3 and 4. Checker flag is in the air. Jimmy Johnson is going to win at Richmond, his 11th victory of the season, and fitting that a Chevy wins the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. Victory lap on the way here for the 48 of Johnson, just the traditional one. Polish victory lap here tonight. 11 wins on the year, adding on to the regular season championship. We'll have the number 1 seed, and we'll take a look at the playoff standings, or the chase standings, going into the first race of the chase. 6 drivers finished on the lead lap, and Elliott Sadler not only finishes the race, but he finishes second on the lead lap. He went a lap down earlier. I think he short pitted enough. He gained a lot of time, and they made some fine-tuned adjustments to that car. Elliott Sadler not only finishes the race, but his second best finish of the year, runner-up. Unbelievable. 16.4 second margin of victory. Johnson wins 2 hours 34 minutes after only 2 cautions flew in this afternoon's race at Richmond. Tony Stewart finishes third, Kevin Harvick fourth. Jeff Gordon rounds out the top 5, so Gordon will be the number 2 seed for the chase. And Dale Earnhardt Jr., last car in the lead lap at 6th. Kurt Busch ends up finishing in 7th place. First car 1 lap down. Rookie Casey Kane, after being involved in another accident tonight, still gets a top 10, finishes 8th. Dale Jarrett 9th. Bobby Labonte rounds out the top 10. Which means, take a look at where Kenseth and Rusty Wallace finished. Look at how close we were. 398 laps of the 400 led today. Gordon led 2 laps. And it was all because of winning the race off pit road under the second caution of the day when everybody pitted. Those were the only laps Gordon led. Otherwise, Johnson would have led every lap for the second time in a race this season. Let's see. Matt Kenseth finishes 17th. Rusty Wallace finishes in 19th. So that means Kurt Busch, Bobby Labonte, Matt Kenseth will all be the final 3 drivers to lock themselves into the chase in the final race before the chase here tonight. And we'll take a look at who all DNF'd in this one. And those were the 3 drivers that DNF'd. Rocky Perry was the last driver who blew an engine. Casey Mears and Kyle Petty, we saw, also blew an engine in the late going. So Jimmie Johnson has won. How about that? A domination race with only 6 cars finishing on the lead lap. We go into the Slovenia 300 at New Hampshire tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's going to be the opening race of the chase. Chase schedule, you got New Hampshire, then Dover, Talladega, Kansas, and Lowe's Motor Speedway will be the first 5 races of the 10-race chase. And we'll take a look at the drivers who will be in that chase. We already know all 10 of them, but we'll take a look at the order in which they qualified. And it's simple. 10 drivers will start off the chase, and only the leader of those 10 drivers at the end of these 10 races on points will be the champion. It's simple as that. There's no knockouts. Consistency from here on out will crown the champion. Jimmie Johnson, 5-point lead. Again, 5-point margins between every position, so it is very tight. The top 10 will all start within 45 points of one another. Rusty Wallace, again, the first driver to miss out in 11th here tonight. Elliott Sadler still back in 15th, despite finishing 2nd. But hey, good run to at least cap off what was a bad end of the regular season. At least he finishes 2nd in the regular season finale. Jimmie Johnson, number 1 seed. Jeff Gordon, number 2 seed. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the number 3 seed. Kevin Harvick will be the 4th seed. Tony Stewart rounded out the top 5 in the regular season. Ryan Newman will start 6th. Casey Kane, the only rookie in the chase, will be 7th. Kurt Busch, 8th. Bobby Labonte, 9th. Matt Kenseth rounds out the top 10. So a rookie does have a chance to win the championship this season going into the final 10 races. Alrighty, well, that is going to do it. And then after our poll today, gives us the most polls on the season. We got 5. Gordon's got 4. Newman's got 4. So got the most polls on the year, too. We'll try to add another one at New Hampshire. We qualified on the poll there earlier this season and dominated that race. Could be 2 straight dominating races for Jimmie Johnson, but you'll have to tune in at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Enjoy NASCAR. Enjoy COTA with the Formula 1 race today as well. I will see you guys for post-race analysis video tomorrow before live streaming, and then NASCAR 21 Ignition less than 36 hours away, ladies and gentlemen, from the release, and less than 48 hours, well, I should say about 48 hours away, a little over that, from streaming NASCAR 21 Ignition, our Daytona 500 for season number 1. You guys will get the fan vote for the driver. Don't forget to go into the community tab on the channel and vote. Keep an eye on the community channel. Keep coming back. If you don't have the notification bell on for the not only the videos but for any community posts as well, make sure you do so, because the voting will end at the end of the night for the 3 polls that will all factor into who I will run as in the NASCAR chase or sorry, the I don't know why I said chase. The NASCAR 21 Ignition Career Mode. You guys will get to vote based off of those polls. So definitely keep an eye out on that. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.